Welcome back, chat. Another week has gone by from the last stream. Today is the 14th of March, 2023. And I'm back again. 2 weeks in a row. I'm being consistent. Because I want to be consistent again. So, why don't we just hop right into this drama? Because this one's a bit funny to me. So, QTCinderella VS JustaMinx. This one sounds a little interesting. So if you don't know, QTCinderella, otherwise known as the Atrioc Deepfake Girl, hosted the second year of the Streamer Awards. Like, she hosted the first year. Oh, whoops. Hold on. I need to record. I'm going to have to restart that. Okay. QTCinderella, also known as the Atrioc Deepfake Girl, has been caught in another drama. This time against JustaMinx. Now, QTCinderella has hosted the Streamer Awards for 2 years now. It's basically a get-together of all her friends where she gives them an award and a handshake. Hassan winning Best Just Chatting Streamer for that year. You know, stuff like that. It's kind of like the Oscars, except more boring and even more brain dead. Well, you see, she got into a bit of a kerfluffle with JustaMinx, who, let's just say, was drinking and caused the after party to get shut down. Normally, this isn't really an issue, and no one really cares about these things. Except for whatever reason, she does. And I'm saying it like I am, because I think it's kind of stupid. We'll get into why in just a bit. But the first thing we're going to do is we're going to start with loading up the first thing. So we're going to hear XQC give his thoughts on the situation. You see this little thin line, though? Oh, Dextero deleted a tweet, by the way. Which is the same thing that we're going to watch here, where she explains how she had to be removed, JustaMinx had to be removed from the Streamer Awards after party. But let's listen to XQC. I have watched some of these things beforehand, so bear that in mind.
Drinking, and people will, like, try to help, but they don't actually help. I'm not throwing people under the bus, okay? I don't know what really happened. This is my perspective about the people that are around Minx over the years, over the months.
So to translate real quick, he's basically saying that people around Minx have tried to quote unquote help, but not really. It's because they don't care about her. We'll get into that in a bit. Because this situation has genuinely pissed me off. For more than one reason. And it's mainly because of QTCinderella and the way she's acting.
I guess that I've known, people will like it. You know, be like, oh, like, stop drinking, but they're not like actually helping at all. Well,
Oh. Oh. And by the way, if you don't know, Minx went to a rehab. I don't know what this rehab was. I don't know how this rehab works or anything like that. I just know that this was a quote-unquote rehab that she went to. I know how some rehabs work. I don't know how this one was working. So it could have been like a 4-week treatment plan or something. I don't remember how long she was offline for, so that's on me. I'm letting, because this is also being recorded for video. Hi, people, later. But basically, you know, you go to rehab to try and lose your addictions. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Usually you have to go there for an extended period of time. 4 weeks is not an extended period of time. So it can take up to 3 to 4 months or longer. In Minx's case, I would assume it probably would take about 3 to 4 months if she was that heavy of a drinker. Anyway, going back to XQC.
I mean, bro, stop. It's just how it is. Okay? It's just my view on it. Okay? And then I was across, and then she kept drinking, yeah? And then after that, what happened is that, you know, she just drank too much. She just drank too much. That's it. And then some stuff was getting broken or something like that, and the party was kind of like getting crazy, I guess. So they had to like put it out front, and then they got people to help, and then the house people were like, "Yo, bro, nah, we're done with this shit," and they drinking.
Okay, so he's basically explaining how the after party gets shut down, and from what it sounds like, people were kind of going a little bit crazy. Well, why don't we hear what QTCinderella explains why JustaMinx had to be removed from the Streamer Awards party, after which it was shut down.
But then, something that's very personal.
We're not watching the full 2 minutes, by the way. She doesn't speak that, or she doesn't share that much insightful shit in 2 minutes.
That I'm not trying to create any unnecessary drama.
Yet, okay, by the way, immediately after, she's created drama. This is the next day. I think the Streamer Awards were 2 days ago, and this came out the 13th. The next day, she's going live with all of this. Bullshit. And we're going to see in a minute why I'm calling bullshit.
Drama here. But Minx attended the after party and got kicked out and inevitably got the party shut down because...
Oh, wait a minute. That's a different telling than what XQC just said. Where people were, I guess, getting a little bit rowdy. And then the party was shut down.
Because it was in a residential neighborhood.
And they were in a okay, I did not know that. I didn't know they were in a residential neighborhood. You shouldn't have been doing this in a residential neighborhood. No shit, Sherlocks.
And I want to unpack some things here. I personally, and I don't want this to become a rag on Minx segment. It's not going to be that. I have personally done everything in my ability.
No, she hasn't, and we're going to get into that. Let's see.
And so I had to walk away, but I have tried everything.
So she's tried everything. Good on her. So where is Minx now? Thank God Minx is all right. All right? When you have an incident like that, it can be very bad. Hell, it could lead to brain damage. I'm not using that as a way of excusing what she has done or anything like that. But she does tweet this out. That was 100% the worst seizure I've had since I was 15. I am still struggling regaining memory from even yesterday. Still am struggle yeah, see, she's probably still, yeah. And so what leads to this? For people commenting that I'm making up my epilepsy for an excuse, I can guarantee you that I had a seizure when I was pushed over. I slept all day yesterday when I got home from the hospital. It's obviously not an excuse for ruining the party, but I'm not lying about my epilepsy. Oh no. What's this? Okay. I will vibe traveling back to Ireland this week to my OG doctor since they don't have my full medical files here to get the right medication. I am truly sorry for ruining the party, but please stop spreading misinfo. Why would she be saying that? Is this it? No. Where is it? Oh, yeah, this is it. No. I thought I had it. Give me a second. Because I guess I don't have that screenshot saved. I thought I did. Alright. Here we go. Sorry. For the people... So this is this. This is what QT says to this. Minx, you did not have a seizure. I was there the entire time. Also, no one pushed you. You're just lying. This picture is from you getting liquids at the ER. That's strange. You know what's even stranger, chat? The tweet you were trying to reply to has been deleted or is not visible to you. QTCinderella caught deleting a tweet that accuses Minx of not having a seizure. Oh, no. Oh, I did everything in my
ability to help this woman.
I've done everything in my ability to help this woman. Oh, it just keeps getting better. Anyway, oh, I did have it. I'm just stupid. Okay. QT is accusing Minx of having a fake seizure. So now these aren't deleted, but I just didn't. I had screenshots rather than tweets, and I figured that these are a little bit better. So this person responds, I hope you're okay, but you still did get drunk after you promised people you wouldn't. And that couldn't have helped. I assumed getting drunk at the after party would be fine. Clearly it was not. QT responds with, oh, go fuck yourself. After this, she responds with, you were drunk before the party. I almost had you thrown out of the show because you were yelling and making everyone uncomfortable. Completely, I've tried everything with you, rehab, everything. I hope this is rock bottom, is your rock bottom. Get help. So QT is clearly pissed. And I've got opinions that I want to share later. But I do want to read this. Because remember what Minx just said here. I assumed getting drunk at the after party would be fine. Clearly it was not. This is to Minx from QTCinderella. Thank God QTCinderella doesn't have a brain in her head. So she posted something that completely isn't in her favor at all. I already bought front row tickets, hee. The day you announced it, I won't drink, I will just sit and applaud your streamer awards 2 years running, my girl in a man's world. You can come sit on the floor if you promise me you won't drink, alright? So as long as she doesn't drink, she can sit on the floor. You are nonstop at the top, and I mean promise, pinky swear. Nothing, completely sober. But I bought my tickets. You could raffle them off if you let me sit on the floor. Okay. Where in there does it say anything about the after party to warrant this response? It doesn't. And it gets worse. So after all this is said and done, Minx says, send me an invoice for the after party. I'm sorry. So Minx is offering to just pay QT the money for the after party. She's offering this like kind of peace agreement of just like, look, I fucked up. I know I fucked up. Send me the invoice. I'll cover it. This was my fault. I ruined your event. I'm not sure what I can do to make this better. I'll pay for the party. I understand I've broken people's trust, and I understand why people want to attack me right now. But please say what I can do to fix it rather than dogpile. I'm sorry. It's sad. It really is. Because if QT was a real friend to her, she would know not to bring, you know, these things would be more prevalent to QTCinderella if they were friends with Minx like she claims. But clearly they're not, and this clip explains why. I've tried handling it privately, it has done nothing. This is QT responding to the reason she's going public with the JustaMinx issue. Besides monetary gain, of course, which this person's probably the most on point. And this is the same clip as before.
I can't tell you how many tears I have cried over losing.
By the way, she cried more about the deepfake stuff than she has about losing a best friend. I want to point this out because it's serious. I'm serious. This is horrible on her. She really should have not responded at all.
Someone who was my best friend to this, genuinely. Over the past year, you can't look at her in the face. There's not the same person there. She's been lost and gone. I have tried everything.
Oh my god. I'm saying it so straight-faced, too.
I mean, everything. I got together a group for an intervention, and then...
She got together a group for an intervention.
Got the rehab, got family involved. I've tried fucking everything. She doesn't want the help. I've tried handling it privately. It hasn't done anything. So I am just hoping that maybe all of this will finally make her realize that she needs to get help and she can't keep using excuses.
Alright. Alright. Let's explain why this is bullshit. Let's explain it all. Alright? This is bullshit. Alright? Complete and utter shit coming from QTCinderella. Rehab does work for people. It probably was working for Minx. The problem is you have to go to these places for an extended period of time. A few days is not an extended period of time, or a few weeks is not an extended period of time. Hell, Minx was probably on her way to recovery long before QTCinderella ever really came around to try and help her. What this is grandstanding. People don't like Minx right now. That's clear from everything going on. But to sit here and act surprised that she was drinking at this place... By the way, prior to this, if you look at the messages... Let me pull up the right one. Right here. They are done on 3/1. Let's see. She was banned... I think it was... I think she got the ban from the 1st to the 8th? No. Yeah. Yeah, because she got unbanned the 8th. Yeah, so it was like Wednesday the 1st to the 8th. She got banned for drinking on stream. And you're sitting here like surprised that she drank at your show. Which, by the way, I just don't get it. I don't get it. You were surprised at this. She relapsed on stream. I've tried everything, guys. I've tried everything. Well, what do you mean you don't believe me? I've tried everything. That's why I'm sitting here straight-faced, not upset that my friend can never come back because they refuse to get... No. I tried everything. Bullshit. You haven't been there for her. Your friends, or the ones that you both have in common, probably haven't been there for her the whole time. This isn't the own everyone's claiming it is. Alright? QTCinderella should be ashamed she released this video. Because it shows you how much of a liar and manipulator she is. She cared more about her dumbass after party than she does about her friend. I don't think I've heard anyone, and I mean anyone, care more about their after party, not the main event. Mind you, this isn't the main event. The thing that the Discord messages was pointing to. This was the after party in a residential neighborhood that she's getting upset about. I have an idea. I have a thought. You don't care about Minx. You never did. You sent her to rehab because you heard that it could work. Alright? You probably served alcohol in your event. You probably served alcohol in the after party. Things were probably spiked beyond comprehension because all you Twitch people live like you're in college, like you're frats, like you're in a fraternity. Alright? You probably didn't help her. You probably sat there, like you're sitting here now, and grandstanding about it. Alright? People that actually try and get help for this stuff don't boast about it and go public with it a day after your major awards. You should be pleased that your awards went well and that people weren't dogging on them for any kind of reason. Alright? You clearly don't like Minx. I think that if you just admitted that, you could avoid this whole situation from really happening. You clearly gave her a seat because you felt bad for her. The question isn't, oh, you threw, or why, the question right now should be, why didn't you throw her out? You had every reason. If you're being honest, then you had every reason to throw her out. Maybe, just maybe, she didn't come drunk, like QT is claiming. Maybe, just maybe, this wasn't Minx's fault. Maybe, just maybe, QTCinderella is blaming Minx because Minx doesn't have a memory of what happened that night. So it's easy to blame the person who can't argue back. Maybe you saw an opportunity. Maybe you didn't. I don't know. And I'm not going to sit there and judge you like you're going to judge everyone else. And I'm not going to lecture you. And I'm not going to have... But I'm going to be damned if I'm going to be lectured by someone who probably drinks more than anyone in that event with people that are probably drinking way more. You can't have an intervention of people that also all drink. Send her to an event where alcohol is probably one of the main staples at this point. And then go on stream and go, I've tried everything, guys. I guess that works in La La Land where these streamers live. But it doesn't work for me. Alright, this is clearly an attempt to try and cancel someone. Or, better yet, to try and pin the blame on someone. Not cancel. That's a stupid word right now. Not cancel. But to pin the blame on someone who can't fight back. You clearly someone's in your ear telling you, we don't just accuse people of faking a seizure. I think it's her boyfriend, Ludwig. You can't accuse people of that. I don't know. She's a horrible friend if she really is friends with Minx, and Minx should find better friends. People who actually care about her. People who actually want to see her improve herself. Alright? You're coming with me. Yoink. You're coming with me. Yoink. 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 Clearly, she doesn't care about Minx. She doesn't care about these people. They're business partners. They're not friends. They're business partners. Don't let their words confuse you. They're all business partners. They're not friends. The only friends are the ones like Minx, who are vulnerable, easy to manipulate, and who do stupid things. Alright? Minx believes these people were her friends. They're not. They were using her just like everyone else in that space. That's all I have to say about this topic. I mean, there's not much more I can say. I think she's a bad friend. I think that she needs to have a hard look in the mirror one day and go, what the fuck did I do to that girl? Anyway, I think we should move on to the next topic here in just a second. Alright. It does. That topic pisses me off beyond belief.
Whole thing agree.
All right, let's
knew about throughout previous tests.
All right, got it. So, Kwite was accused of quite a few things. Pun intended. So it was by this person. This is called. Their name is Orion. They are trans. They go by he, him, or he, they, he, them, he, him. I don't know. I gave up. I gave up trying a long time ago. Anyway, they created this twitlonger, as you can see here. I think it's the same thing I have over here. Anyway, so we have all the stuff that Kwite was accused of. Kwite responded not too long ago. Actually, it was 2 days ago. March 11th. 3 days ago, it must be bugged. But before we get into that, let's see, what came first? This one, okay. Let's hear, so the accusations were rape and a few other things. Second meeting. Yeah, rape and transphobia and a few other things. So let's start with this one. So I'm going to go back to this, and then, let's see, opera, huh? No. Wait, what? Oh, I know why. Doi. Give me 1 second to fix it. There we go. All right.
Throughout the video, Orion continuously drives home how good of friends we used to be before saying how many secrets he had on me.
So this is blackmail, by the way. If you don't know, this is blackmail. Using people's secrets against them in any form or fashion like this, to where if they speak about it, they're going to reveal things. That's blackmail. What this guy, sorry, pronouns that throw me off with the voice. What this guy is trying to do is basically cancel someone for what was a whole lot of nothing, as we'll learn.
After he didn't respond to Discord messages, I texted him on his phone because I had his phone number, as well as I'd met his parents. I had his address. I have a lot of secrets on him because we were best friends.
This video came off as malicious to me when it was
I don't... Oh, and by the way, Kwite had to do a face reveal because of this situation. That's fucked up. This girl forced him into a face reveal.
First released and still does now. Considering the private issues of mine Orion was willing to share about me in public, I feel like nothing, even just a passing comment, would have been off the table. And yet any mention of sexual contact is completely absent in any form from his previous testimony. In that testimony, from the jump, Orion gets the timeline of events objectively wrong.
Is that... Okay, that's the second clip.
In the video, Orion says
we'll
we met in early 2016.
I met Kwite.
So, for frame of reference, as we'll learn, this timeline is completely skewed. And whilst I believe Kwite partially, I have a hard time believing that he knows the timeline any better than she does. Mainly because I think that the timeline's so skewed that he doesn't even know what he's going at, or better yet, he doesn't know exactly what he's saying. Or it's been so long he doesn't know what he's saying. That's the best way to put it.
Early 2016, around about January, because it was around about my birthday.
This is instead of early 2017, like he says now, and all records point to the latter being the case.
So, basically what he's saying is, no one really knows the timeline, because the timeline she put forth is skewed to make it sound even worse than what it really was, I guess. And he dispels everything in this. Like, there's no way she can come back from this, as we'll get to in her response. Or he. Sorry, I did it again. The voice threw me off again. Alright? I'm not trying to do this on purpose, I swear to God. It's the voice, it threw me off.
Directly puts the timeline he gave back then off by a year. You could excuse Orion as having misspoken, but it's a mistake he makes every time he mentions what year something happened in.
But then we started to get really, really close. Especially around about summer of 2016.
So they start getting close, and everything like that happens. So, yeah, you can see that this is... So, we went from... They met in person for the first time in 2017, and that's when their contact started, to... We had contact all the way back in 2016. Something's off.
We met up in my home city.
When that actually happened was in summer 2017. Orion's current version of events agrees with me that we had first met both online and in real life in 2017.
Cut to planning to VidCon. We met up in February of 2017. Cut to February where we met up for the...
Okay, so... Again, I think Kwite does an amazing job at showing that this person has no real timeline of events. And I have a theory about this, because there was one part in it that really stuck out to me the most as something that was a bit off. Now, usually my meter doesn't tingle with these situations, and it's just fine. But there was something weird about this to me.
Second time, and I remember it was February because we went to see Black Panther.
Orion implied Black Panther came out in 2017. He says cut to February 2 separate times, but only mentions what year it was once. He either means that I met up with him only the one time in February 2017, which was when we would have watched Black Panther, and is objectively untrue, or he added an entirely new instance of us meeting up, which puts an extra year on the timeline of our friendship. Either way it was meant, his timeline of these alleged events would be objectively wrong and at odds with his current version of the allegations. If you think I'm nitpicking with the years, this isn't an issue exclusive to raw dates, but spans of time as well. In the video, Orion says I started ignoring him for 2 weeks after seeing Black Panther.
2 weeks later, he randomly starts ignoring me.
In his current version of events, Orion said that several months had passed after Black Panther before I cut him off. The reality is closer to Orion's original testimony, but both are still wrong. The call where we...
Okay. So basically, you get the gist of it. They really don't know the timeline, and or they're trying to make it sound worse than it is because, oh, you're cutting off a former longtime friend.
Me. That video was called Giving Kwite.
So this Tuskspicious guy, I think, has been more involved in this situation than anything else. The video in question is a 4-year-old video that was privated, name changed twice actually, or unlisted, name changed twice, and then privated, only to come out more recently again when Orion created the Twitlonger. To me, it sounds a little fishy. It almost sounds like these two had been planning this. Tuskspicious is either does not like Kwite all that much and has reason to do this, or they don't have any reason to do this and they went after him because it was an easier target. So, a little bit later on, they talk about a mutual friend they had in common that, I guess, decided to cut ties with Orion as well. This would be great if it weren't for the fact that it may not be true. Here is Kappa Kaiju, someone that did not want to be, or that shouldn't have been named in this. It shouldn't have even have come out at all. I guess we should go back to full screen, because you can see this is a very long allegation, or this is a very long list of things. But, and this is where I go into, now he explains that she was kind of dependent on him to accept them for who they, or accept them, or something like that. So I'm going to full screen this so that you can see it. Because this is where I start getting into Orion has malicious in posting these allegations. You see, Kappa Kaiju says, you seem to receive the support you need from blank. Kwite has just become your crutch. It was clear that this was coming to an end, but the way you handled it was absolutely abysmal. Dragging me into the situation, essentially trying to back him into a corner, when I do not share the same belief, nor do I believe I've ever mentioned anything along those lines in any meaningful way. Certainly not to the extent that it's used, or that it used could be justified in an argument. Kwite is moving away from certain people, that much is true, but I definitely never stated anything regarding why he's doing so. The way you've acted immediately after pretty much sealed the deal for me. Your view on the events is childish and narrow. I'm not sure if that is by choice or by ignorance, and I can't decide which is worse. Kwite is a puzzle piece finally moving into his position. He is not blind with fame, nor has it made him arrogant. He is turning into an amazing person that simply puts work before, or simply put, works better without you, sorry. Just as you work better with blank. Stability is something you have to find yourself. So, this person sees through Orion as well. And in fact, Orion agrees and says, I understood that it's good that he has been able to build the confidence that he deserves, but his treatment of me was uncalled for. I'm sorry if it came off as that way, right? I can't read it, sorry. So, Orion is lying. Orion seems like a needy friend who, for lack of a better way of putting it, relies on other people to validate them rather than, I don't know why I did that, rather than trying to fix the situation themselves. It's clear that Kwite was not the only person that saw this in her, or them, him, Him. Frig. Now people are going to say I'm doing it on purpose. I'm not. I swear to God. The pronoun shit just... I don't know how to... The pronoun stuff just gets me every time. Especially with someone with that feminine of a voice. I don't mean to be disrespectful towards them. But holy moly. Oh, damn it. Anyway, there's not much more I can really say on this, because I think Kwite's in the right on this. He posted a response that clearly outlines how deranged and how kind of clingy this person is, and how they really did need the validation from Kwite, along with a few others, in order to, how it looks, survive day to day. They liked it. They liked that validation that they were getting, and when Kwite wanted to move on, simply put, they didn't like it. I thought I had, and I might have this, so let me try and find it real quick. Let's see. Yes, I do. Yes.
That's just not what Orion was doing. On February 2nd in 2018, before we met up that month, there was a conversation me and Orion had.
Alright. I want people to pay... I'm not going to talk for a quick second. Because I want people to pay close attention to how he describes this moment. Alright? I'm not talking... And you can... and based on this, this is how I come to that conclusion that that friendship was reliant on the validation. And that had he stopped validating her, I think the friendship would have dried up a lot sooner.
That I feel encapsulated the nature of our friendship and how Orion viewed me over the course of it. We had a short text exchange where I said I was busy prepping for a podcast I was about to stream and that I had a video to edit afterwards, so I didn't really have the free time to hang. I let Orion know I was busy and I got back to it. A few hours later, I'm wrapped up with the podcast and Orion hits me with, "Hey, can I ask you something?" Apparently the thing that brought this on was that when Orion listened to the podcast that day, the conversation I had with the guest sounded too good. Essentially, I had gotten along with them so well that it made Orion scared I wouldn't be his friend anymore. In other words, the sight of me having other friends or even being friendly with other people came off to Orion as a threat to our friendship. A message like that can get...
I don't know about you, but that comes across as a needy friend. Not, I guess that's a wrong way of saying that. That comes across as you're only really friends with Kwite anymore because of the way he validates you. This guy did a podcast. A podcast! And your response to him was, are we still friends? Because that's insanity. Could you imagine like, you're friends with somebody, right? Alright. You decide to go join another group during like a class or something. And then afterwards, they go, are you good? Are we still friends? Dog. That's scary. That really is scary. Hold on, let me do that. The allegations were clearly bullshit. I'm gonna say that now. Looking back at it with hindsight, they were pretty bullshit. I didn't really believe him at the time, mainly because I didn't know Kwite. I actually didn't know who he was prior to these allegations. But I can kind of effectively say I don't truly believe Orion anymore. I don't believe that Orion ever had the means in which they said they do, or they said they did. And I almost think that Orion was doing this because they like attention. Orion clearly lied. This video shows that. The reason I'm not watching the whole thing is because A, it's an hour and 40 minutes or hour and 31 minutes long, and I don't really feel like reacting to an hour and 30. That's like a 3-hour stream that I just don't have, A, I don't have the time for, and B, I would have to have scheduled in advance. But that's scary. That wraps up this part of the Kwite segment. So why don't we move on to the Kwite segment part 2. His response. Orion's response. Because pronouns suck, and I can never get them right. Alright. Oh, that's the wrong thing. Okay. Oh. I saw Kwite posted a response, but it's like an hour and 40 minutes long, and I don't have the time to talk about it right now, but I'm treating this with the utmost respect this deserves. I can't watch it just yet, but I will try it tonight. Well, this was made at my time, 1:26. Hey, I haven't seen the full video, but I noticed quite a bit of lying in the first 10 minutes, so I realized I need to show my diagnosis. After I post this, I'm logging off for a while, but here's undeniable proof that what I said did. Thank you everyone for the support. We have a medical log. This was done at 2:14, so about an hour, about 40 minutes-ish, 50 minutes, I would say. They post this response. Orion preferred name is a 21-year-old transgender male who self-referred for individual psychotherapy due to an onset of panic attacks, dissociative episodes, and intrusive memories of a sexual assault that experienced in 2018. Orion reported experience the following symptoms, which are consistent with diagnosis of PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. Well, crap. People aren't buying it. In fact, yeah, and this, by the way, it's been now 3 days, and this is their last post, of which comments are locked to people that are follows or mentioned. Well, this person in the comments was quite receptive, to say the least. Orion, this is clearly copy-pasted and fake. A real medical document like this would be proofread. This isn't looking great for you. Oh no. Things repeating? Surely. Oh no. It's right here. And so the quote tweets reigned supreme today. This day. 6,952. Oh, I shouldn't have showed that. Oh well. Who lies about this and then fakes a medical document? Many comments. Many quote retweets. Calling this fake. Alright, I can't show any more of that because A, I'm going to get claimed, and B, I don't want to be claimed. Anyway, I want to give my thoughts on it because I think it's funny. I think it is. It's hilarious. This person actually faked a medical document. From what it looks like, they faked it, and that was probably their final response. I would not be surprised if they deactivate their account sometime soon. From what I heard, they have a private, and I can't see it, so I don't know if they're responding over there to anything. Ooh. But this doesn't look good for Orion. This whole situation, which could have been avoided easily, it sounds more, and this is going back to last video. So if you haven't seen the last video, this theory doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but it will if you saw the last video. I think that the suspicious guy got her to do this. in order to repost the video of them, or of Kwite, in order to go after him. There's clearly some motivation in going after Kwite. What this motivation is, I don't really know. And I don't know why they'd want to go after Kwite. Maybe the person feels betrayed. Maybe the person just doesn't like Kwite. I don't know. Like I said, the situation is weird. It doesn't make sense. And if anything, dots aren't lining up. I would not be surprised if this is the last we hear from Orion, at least for the next few months. Or I should say weeks. Weeks is more of a better way of looking at things. But it is. This isn't the own that like everybody originally thought it was. In fact, this almost comes across more as a malicious way of going after someone that who broke off from, or who broke a relationship off that they relied upon. And like I said, I don't know Kwite all too well. In fact, I really don't even know him at all. But I do know, because I was told this, that he was forced to do a face reveal because of this. Because they had posted his face. He was an anonymous person at first, and now he is public. So there's no point in hiding his face, because they've made it clear they don't care about his boundaries. Alright? They don't care about his boundaries. Let that sink in. You know, we talk about how we need to respect people's boundaries. You know, in our society, we talk about how people need to respect each other's boundaries and everything else like that. They didn't even give him that courtesy. That's how much maliciousness is in this story. Boundaries be damned. They're going after him. That's all I really have to say about this topic. There's nothing more to really say about it. So, I think we need to move on. Alright, the ranting segment. This is the segment I look forward to I kind of look forward to. I want to talk about a show I had watched recently. I recently watched Tales of the Jedi. It was actually a pretty good show. I'm not going to lie to you. I thought it was actually pretty good. I thought that the first episode where they're showing like a young Ahsoka Tano was good. The next 3 episodes of showing younger Count Dooku along with him like turning to the dark side. Really fantastic writing in that. There really wasn't... There is stuff that I think they could have improved, though. They did Ahsoka kind of dirty. In the sense of, like, they didn't give her, like, the airtime she deserved. They should have showed her, like, getting indoctrinated into the Jedi Order, and they don't show that, which was really, really dumb. That was, like, such a missed opportunity to me. It was like, you have such an awesome character in Ahsoka Tano, but you didn't show how she became a Jedi, like how the Jedi found her. That was kind of my only major criticism of it. Other than that, it was actually a pretty fun watch. Highly recommend if you have the time to do it, because it was kind of fun. It was interesting. Especially seeing Count Dooku, who's a character that's majorly respected. that got done really dirty in the prequels, and who was saved because of the Clone Wars animated series. I, like, thank God every day that he was saved in that. But, you know, I was like, I really did like it. And I realized watching it that I had been liking some of the shows that have been coming out recently from Star Wars. I know a lot of people have issues with it, and I know that, like, opinions of the community, or I know that people really just, once set on their opinion, are locked and loaded, and you can't change their minds. But it was like, I really like it, and I like the direction that they're kind of going now. Mando Season 2 is off to a great start, in my opinion. They're going back to what I think are the Mando roots, which is kind of raising Grogu and caring about this child that Din Djarin is in the care of now. I really like the way that The Mandalorian is going as well. Season 3 seems to kind of be returning to that Season 1 mentality. And I really liked that. Because I feel like we didn't get enough of the Mando in Season 2. It felt more like a bunch of fetch quests in Season 2 than it really did, like, how we got used to the Mando. Which kind of sucks because he's such a great character all in all that I think that they really just didn't know how to handle him in the second season. And you could kind of tell that the second season was a bit rushed. I actually enjoyed the way they handled Boba Fett in the Book of Boba Fett as well. And I know a lot of people don't like it, but I did. I thought that his character was kind of cooler than just being a bounty hunter. Because it gave him kind of a purpose. Before the Book of Boba Fett, you know, I was like, I always liked Boba Fett. I thought he was a pretty cool kind of guy. I thought that, like, the armor was cool. But it really never screamed. It never really was anything up until really they gave him, or really until the Legends stuff, the non-canon stuff, that they really gave him a story. You know, and I understand, like, yeah, he's a massive bounty hunter, and it's kind of bad that they didn't allow him to kind of do any bounty hunting kind of stuff, and they gave that all to Fennec Shand. But I didn't really care. Looking back at it, I did like the fact that he was kind of more of a leader than anything else. He really came across as just a guy, or just another person trying to fix what was broken. And from what it looks like in Mando Season 3, Tatooine is flourishing. You know, and I think that's kind of the whole point of where we're going in Season 3, is flourishing with the Mandalorian. Societies that have been ruined now are going to be on top. I'm not spoiling anything for Mando Season 2, by the way. So, don't think I am. I will not say what's going to happen. When we get to the mid-season point, I'm going to give a hefty spoiler warning, because I am going to be talking about that. But outside of that, yeah, it's been really interesting to watch, like, everything thus far. And really, I think it's been interesting to see how Disney is progressing with Star Wars. Clearly, when they were making the sequels, they didn't really have a focus in mind of where they wanted to go with Star Wars in the future. And they made the sequels in order to keep the IP name and everything like that. But we could tell that, like, Rogue One had a focus and had, like, an actual purpose. So it wasn't going to be far off to assume that, like, later stories were going to be like this. You know, I have opinions that I really can't share because people would probably kill me with sharing my opinion on it. Because I didn't mind the first 2 sequels. In fact, I actually kind of liked both of them. It was The Rise of Skywalker I had a problem with. And it's the complete opposite way for the prequels. I hated the first 2. And by the way, you know, say what you want, I didn't really like the prequel. I liked Revenge of the Sith. I thought that one was, like, really well done. There was emotion in it. The first 2 really didn't have that same emotional cut, I guess is the best way of saying it. And kind of just felt bland. And then the third one was just, like, pouring out emotion once you got, like, to the midpoint of the film. So that was kind of my thing. And, you know, it kind of dawned on me a while ago that Star Wars was made for everyone. And that anyone can enjoy anything or can dislike anything. Which is why I haven't really said, like, anything negative about anyone. You know, and this dawned on me because I was at Disneyland one day. I was at the Galaxy's Edge. I did a few things there. This was a while ago, by the way. This wasn't recent. But, you know, I saw kids running around with, like, costumes of, like, Kylo Ren, Rey, Ahsoka, all these different characters. And that's kind of when it dawned on me that Star Wars was made for everyone, and it wasn't just made for those that were dedicated to Star Wars. And it made me appreciate the sheer amount of things that just go into the Star Wars franchise. You know, I went back and I really did sit down and I enjoyed the prequels for the first time in a long time, I'd say. And then I kind of went back and I watched the sequels. And outside The Rise of Skywalker, I enjoyed them. And I really can't say... And when I watched the original... Obviously, I watched the original trilogy as well. And it gave me a newfound appreciation for Luke Skywalker as a character as a whole. And I know people didn't really like the way that Rian Johnson handled him in The Last Jedi, but it gave me a new appreciation for the moments in The Last Jedi that Luke is in. Especially that scene with Luke and Yoda. Where, you know, he says something on the lines of, or, you know, he tells, like, Luke, like, we are what they grow beyond. That's the true burden of all masters. You know, and I sat there and I thought about that for a second after realizing that Star Wars was made for everyone and not just, like, those hardcore fans. And I sat there and I kind of thought, wow. Nothing has ever been said like this in Star Wars and actually been meant. You know, we've had occasions where things like this... We've had occasions where stuff like that has happened, and I'm not gonna, you know, it's like... But really, when's the last time you looked at the Star Wars community as a whole and said, I really want to be a part of that? You know, you haven't. And like I said, I have a newfound appreciation for stuff like that now. Controversial or not, Star Wars is fun for everyone. Whether you like it or dislike it or anything like that, someone's going to enjoy it, inevitably. And there's not much we can do about it. You know, we are, you know, they are what we grow beyond. I'm a Star Wars fan now. Imagine what Star Wars is going to be like 10 years from now. Imagine what the fan base is going to be like 10 years from now. When you've got more kids growing up who loved Star Wars their whole life and stuff like that. Who experienced Star Wars for the first time because of the sequels. I think that we lose that idea because people just kind of forget that stuff like this happens. we get so caught up in our own world of Star Wars that we forget there are other people there are other people that also like Star Wars. I don't agree with the way they did The Rise of Skywalker, but somebody does. Some little kid probably does. Do I think that they're stupid for liking it? Yeah. I'm not going to lie to you. I think that it was the worst written of the three. And feel free to fight me on that one in the comments, but you're going to be wrong no matter what you say. It is the worst written of the three. And the only scenes that are redeemable are the ones with Luke. So, you know, and yeah, that's kind of what I thought was really cool, was that I didn't really think of Star Wars as being for everybody until then. You know, the sequels are made for kids, obviously, and I think that's why people have such a problem with them. They're made for kids. They don't really make sense in a bigger sense of, like, Star Wars as a whole. But they are. They're made for kids. They're made, but the prequels were made for adults. And the reason I say that is because when you kind of look at, like, the topics that the prequels were facing, God, they were talking about slavery. I mean, seriously, they were talking about slavery. They were talking about all these other, like, way bigger topics. Intergalactic politics. I mean, seriously. You don't stop and think about that until you've, like, become an adult and you go back and you watch these and go, holy frig. That's kind of dark. You know, and it doesn't help that, like, I think a lot of people just totally, like, go brain mush when you say, like, oh, I didn't mind the sequels. I thought they were kind of good. You know, it doesn't help that people do, like, brain mush sometimes. And instead of listening to you, they're just like, I can't believe you like this, blah. You know, but it's like, you know, but the sequels, like I said, they're made for kids. I can't fault it because they are clearly a product of Disney, like, making everything for kids during an era where they were making literally everything for kids. So it's like, looking back at them, yeah, there's flaws. Obviously there's flaws. Every movie's gonna have flaws. Anyone will tell you that. Every movie will have a flaw in it, including the original trilogy. You know, but that's just my opinion on the matter. I want to know, what do you think about what I'm saying in the comments? You know, do you agree with my stance? Do you disagree with anything that I've said? You know, I'm always open to change my opinion, especially about Star Wars. I change my opinion about Star Wars all the time. So, I want to know what you think. You know, if you've thought anything about it. Because I do. I think that it's an interesting topic that I want to delve further into. I want to understand people a lot better. Because right now, a lot of the people that I talk to that dislike the sequels basically just say Rey bad, and that's why the sequels are bad. You know, I haven't really talked about my opinions on Luke, which I don't want to talk about just yet. Mainly because I just want to see what people think. So yeah, let me know what you think in the comments, and I think I'm going to wrap this part up. And I think I'm going to head out. It's past the hour for me by a little bit. So, why don't I switch over? So, I guess I'm going to have to see you all next Tuesday. Better yet, in the comments. Like and subscribe. Do all the stuff. I go live every Tuesday. I release videos on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Monday. If I have enough topics to cover. And I think I'll catch y'all afterwards.